Hi, you're watching Floyd Steinberg's YouTube channel. I found some MIDI gadgets on AliExpress. These are cheap, but are they worth buying? If you want to find out, please join me for the next minutes in this video. Here we go. First, here are the wireless MIDI connectors. They come in a blister pack that also has the instructions printed onto it, so don't throw this away before you've read them. Not much to see here, these plugs are paired already, so all you need to do is to turn them on or off. The out plug goes into the MIDI out of your keyboard and the in plug goes in whatever receives your MIDI data. These plugs need to be recharged with a USB Type-C cable. Okay, let's measure latency first. So I've connected my Montage M8X here to the Arca MPC Live 3 with those wireless MIDI connectors, and both of them are set to playback standard saw waves. I'll play a note and then we'll check in Audacity the difference in time between the Montage M8X, which will be first, and the MPC Live 3, which will be second, and then we'll repeat that with a cable. Here we go. Alright, now let's connect the cable. Okay, here's the same thing with a MIDI cable. There is one thing that I'm noticing right now. So there's an interference here, and I don't know where it's coming from, but it's not from these. Okay, so I'll load my two recordings into Audacity here. I will cut away all the unnecessary silence. And the first sound you hear here was recorded with wireless MIDI, and the second one with a cable. And let's see if there's a difference there. So let's normalize this. Let's zoom in. So the sound begins here, and now we'll just measure the distance till here, and it's 21 milliseconds. So the latency of the wireless MIDI adapters is 21 milliseconds. Now let's take a look at the cable. Let's zoom in here, and now we need to measure the distance between here and here, and that's 14. So the wireless MIDI adapters add around 7 milliseconds of latency to your MIDI setup. It's pretty good. I'm currently editing this video and I noticed I have forgotten to tell you that no other Bluetooth devices can connect to these MIDI connectors. So that's an important information for you to have, I think. And of course we'll have to do a range test. So here's my Pico Tracker Advance, and it's connected to one of the wireless MIDI adapters here. Goes into MPC. I can now play back a MIDI sequence here, and we will hear a drum sequence on the MPC. I will now run around with this device in my hand, in my house, so when this stops, we're out of range. So, let's go. Whoop, whoop, whoop. This is so ridiculous. Here we go. So I think you've seen it. There's probably 5 to 6 meters with a wall between them. I don't want to do a range test in the open because no one is ever going to use these outside, I think.
Get down, baby, get down. Right on, get down.
Next, the MIDI pedal. This thing looks solid, and it has an input for another pedal. It comes with another Bluetooth connector and USB cable. And look, there's a manual. And there's also an app to set up its functions. The 4 switches here are toggle buttons that send CC data, and by default they'll toggle from 0 to 127. I downloaded the app for Windows and I turned the left button into a sustained pedal. There are 9 modes here. You can select on the pedal by stomping on the switches. These can be used to send program change commands, back selects, control change values, SysEx, song position, start, stop, basically anything MIDI can do. You can assign as many MIDI commands as needed to each button in custom mode. You can connect the volume pedal here as well and set it up to send control change data. So in this example, I used it to open and close the filter and to change resonance ever so slightly. Standard MIDI CC behavior can be found on the internet, by the way. Once you disconnect the device, you can switch operation modes by double tapping the power switch. Stomping buttons A to D will send program change messages or CC messages depending on which mode you're in. Pushing down the 2 left or the 2 right button simultaneously increases or decreases bank numbers. All in all, this is a pretty solid device, and for $25 I'm really not disappointed. It connects to your device by USB or Bluetooth or to 5-pin MIDI using the wireless connector. This could be a nice addition to a guitar pedal board or a set of additional controls for a synthesizer that has no control pedal input at the moment. Yep, and that's it for today. Some cheap MIDI devices from AliExpress. As you've seen, this stuff works, and quality isn't too bad either. The only criticism I have with these here are that they don't recharge over the MIDI connection. You have to plug it into USB from time to time. Would I recommend buying these over the more expensive options? That's a difficult question. You could buy these as a spare part, for example. So if you found this was a good YouTube video, please do the YouTube thing. You can also support me on Patreon or by becoming a channel member using the button under this video. I also actually make music, which I post on Bandcamp and Spotify. But as usual, thanks for watching and see you again next week. Bye bye!